With many things in life, people can interpret any way they want to. That's the beauty of consuming media. You can see it in any lens that you want to. However, sometimes there are some takes that straight up rub me the wrong way. Like, I can't help but wonder if we watch the same thing. This is especially the case for this one little indie movie that may or may not be spreading around the woods like a wildfire at the moment. I don't know if you heard about it, but it's somewhere along the lines of Transformers 1. You may be asking where I'm going with this, and I'm just gonna be honest with you. Orion and Elita are not the villains. The amount of discourse surrounding the characterizations in Transformers 1 makes me mourn the death of media literacy. I'm gonna keep it 100. The amount of takes that straight up villainize either Orion and Elita are really starting to annoy me. I am prepared for the amount of bad takes on social media regarding any aspect of TM1 the moment I saw it back in August, but I never expected the discourse to be this. The reason why I feel this way is because, I feel like some of y'all are missing the entire point of their characters. The thing is that no one is a true hero or villain, unless you're either Darkwing's bitch ass or Sentinel Prime's bitch ass. The story works because our main characters are flawed yet well-meaning people. I can't say much about Badass and Tron because really he's the comic relief, but I do have a lot to say about the other three, Oreo, Dean, and Elita. They're great characters because of their writing. Neither of them can be seen in a strict black and white viewpoint because that's the entire point. I want to take the moment to debunk the common talking points surrounding both Orion and Elita today, especially in the former's case of how both he and Dean interact throughout the story. I want to make it clear that this is a general sense, so don't assume I'm pointing fingers at anybody. Get that out of your mind right now. Now that we got that established, let's go start with Orion first, because he's the first character I think of when it comes to this movie's discourse. And I'm gonna go put a stop to that right now, because leave my boy alone! Let's go debunk the first common point I see often when it comes to discussing Orion's character and relationship with Dee throughout the story. Actually, Orion's a selfish idiot who didn't care about anyone but himself. Oh, hell no. You mean Orion is a selfish idiot due to his actions prior to his character development? Is straight up ignoring why he became Optimus Prime in the first place. He always thinks of the greater good for everyone, not just himself. Sure, he needed to learn self-control, and he does get called out for thinking with his heart first and not his brain, first by Elita and later Dee during their argument in the cave. However, what's important is that he always thinks of others' needs. Look at what he did for Jazz when the latter was almost left behind in the collapsing tunnel. He could have easily stuck to protocol, but instead, he risked his own life to save a good friend of his. Hell, even Elita pointed this out during her pep talk to him. Orion's biggest strength is his hope. His empathy for others is what drives him into doing crazy things for the greater good. It also helps that he actually takes being called out for his insensitivity at heart and strives to make right by his fellow miners, especially Dee. Not only does he give Elita the realms to lead alongside him, but he also manages to rally the others in rising against Sentinel by empathizing with them and giving them the choice to either stay behind or fight. He does crazy things because he wants everyone to have the life that they deserve. This is also noticeable with how he and Dee uses pronouns throughout the movie. Orion always uses we as he thinks of everyone, not just himself. D uses I or me as he thinks of either the consequences of Orion's actions or how things affect him. D is a sympathetic character who has every right to be mad at Sentinel, and rightfully so. But the self-centered thinking has been there from the beginning, which then leads me to my next point. Megatron was right. Now here's the key thing that makes it fall flat. His anger blinded him from seeing the bigger picture. His strict adherence to protocol is his coping mechanism from the injustices of the system. He is willing to stay in ignorance even with all the red flags that are right in his face. Once that security blanket is gone, when Sentinel's true colors were revealed to him, he internally longs for the same structure he grew up with, even if he has to become the same person as Sentinel. The tragedy of his character is that his anger prevented him from achieving the same goals as his best friend. He focuses only on regaining back the comforts of the world he knew, not the needs of others. Once he learned that power is one way of getting what he wants, that's all he focused on. And here's the other thing. He was about to kill millions of people once he killed Sentinel. His spiral of madness deemed all those who opposed him as followers of Sentinel, even if these were his friends. Not to mention that he was quick to deem all of the primes, including his best friends, as false idols that needed to be torn down. Again, he thinks about how he was affected by the system, not even thinking about how others were affected by the system. To claim either one is right or wrong is missing the nuance of their characters. Megatron has every right to feel anger about the injustices of the system, but he has crossed the point of no return when he dropped Orion into the abyss. Optimus strives to tear down and rebuild the system into becoming something better, but ultimately his flawed ways of getting to that goal is what cost him the relationship that matters the most to him. Claiming Orion is a villain is missing the entire point of both his and Dee's character arcs, so I question if this is the same movie we're watching if you carry that opinion. Both of them are flawed yet complex characters that are neither right or wrong, and this is the aspect that these arguments miss whenever I see them on my feeds. Y'all cannot complain that we don't have enough female characters who are mean in media, because y'all can barely handle this Elita one. When you really think about it, she's a much more important character than what most people realize, because she is Dee's foil. She is what he could have been like had Orion been given the chance to do right by him. Elita saw the injustices of the system, so she strives to work alongside Orion in order to overthrow Sentinel and make it a better world for everyone. The most prominent argument I see when it comes to discussion of her character is that she's too mean to Orion and Dee prior to her character development. Here's the thing. My girl is a slave to the system just like them. It's rough out there. She strives to move upward in the world in order to escape the brutality of her everyday life. As we see in the movie, this shit can kill somebody. She has to be no nonsense just to survive. She's a working girl. Of course she's not going to be all kumbaya with everyone, because at the core, they're all co-workers. We all work everyday jobs, and this is exactly how it operates in the real world. Not to mention, she has every right to be annoyed at Orion for costing her the promotion she always wanted. I'm sorry, I love him and all, but bro is playing a dangerous game being all rambunctious and shit. Like, he needed to learn that lesson the hard way. Thus, it becomes more meaningful when she is dragged along into the quest for the One Piece, and she eventually warms up to everyone as, the more they spend time together. She's not a cruel person. We see that she's a good person underneath her rough demeanor. It's just that her environment is what forced her to be the strict no-nonsense manager prior to the journey. It eventually culminates in perhaps one of my favorite scenes in the entire movie.
Listen to me. I really want you to hear this. Are you listening? I'm better than you.
Yeah, okay, I'm hearing you.
I'm better than you in every way except you have hope. You always have. You went back into the mine to rescue Jazz. You snuck up to the surface to find the matrix of leadership.
Yeah, and how'd that work out?
My point is that your instincts tell you to break protocol for a reason. This blind optimism that you have is why you make such bold and courageous choices that are also extremely stupid.
First time giving a pep talk?
You're inspiring. You can envision a better future that no one else can see. And if we ever want to see B and D16 again, that is the Orion Pax that we need right now. Listen to me. We can do this.
I dare you to claim Elita is a horrible character, because this scene right here shows her changing for the better, just like Orion. Not only did she become his biggest supporter once they resolved to get back to Iacon, but she also strives to be his equal. She lets him take charge, she listens to him, and she makes others listen to him when they doubt him. Had this been pre-character development Elita, she would have been 100% in control. However, because she realizes that she doesn't have to carry the weight of the world on her shoulders, she is willing to relax and let others take the lead. Thus, there's a reason why she became Optimus's right-hand woman by the end. To call her a villain is just as bad as calling Orion a villain. Both of them are flawed and likable characters who have changed for the better once they learned the truth. They worked hard to get to where they want to at the end. If you don't see that, then you miss the entire point. I'm sorry, but yeah, you missed the point.
Here, educate yourself.
I need to get this off my chest because I feel like these arguments quickly fall apart once you look at the deeper meanings of the characterizations in the movie. You have a right to an opinion, but you also have to understand that the story works because it is nuanced. I wish that more people take the time to stop and think before saying anything, because that's how we get takes like this. In a nutshell, it's okay to recognize that Megatron is a villain for a reason. By claiming that either Orion or Elita is the villain of the story, it not only absolves Megatron of his own flaws, but it also ignores what makes the three of them great characters in the first place. Transformers 1 is a story filled with layers for a reason, and each character is more than meets the eye for a reason. Just, it has layers! Ugh. Alrighty, I think that's everything I need to cover today. Just honestly, after days of bad takes on my social media, I really need to put these takes to rest. Like, I'm one in a million, but I hope that this does something about it. Like I mentioned, it's something I knew would happen, when I saw this movie for the first time back in August, but it still doesn't make the discourse any less what? Don't you love the fandom? Anyways, in all seriousness, thank you all so much for watching me ramble for more than 10 minutes. Especially about this, really neat indie movie. Feel free to comment any thoughts or opinions down below. I would really love to hear y'all's perspective on this discourse. I just ask that you please keep it cute. If y'all want to keep up with videos like this, feel free to subscribe to the channel and turn on that bell for all notifications. Once again, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you back here next time. Bye!